All right, so tonight I'm going to be talking about the oily crystal. So I will make sure that I send a recording to everybody and I'll post it in the pages too so that everybody has it. All right, and if you have questions, feel free to type them in the chat. I can even open up the phone lines at the end and take some questions. But Rebecca asked, she said, these are 30-minute presentations. Oh, Rebecca, you asked the wrong person, but I will really, I will really try my best to keep this short. So let's see, I'm looking at who is on here. So for anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Allie, and I am a silver leader in our greater team. I am also an attorney, which usually shocks a lot of people. I have spent, well, now 26 years in the field of criminal prosecution, focusing on protecting animals. So while it's been a while since I've actually been in the courtroom, I have spent a majority of my career actually teaching at the national and international level about animal protection and how it links to how animal abuse links to family violence. So I've written quite a few books. I give a lot of presentations. I have spent 20 some years volunteering in animal shelters and with rescues. And currently I have in my care a kitty who suffered burns on her head. So she is being cared for. But in addition to all of that, for almost 10 years now, I have had my energy healing business. I am certified in 3 modalities as a master teacher, energy healer. I am a certified health coach. I have been invited by Young Living to speak about oils and pets, and doing a little bit of collaboration with them about oils and crystals because they seem to be really interested in this topic. But I am also an advanced crystal master. And what that means is I studied for 18 months with a science teacher. So I learned the science about crystals. And I have been teaching my crystal classes for over 8 years, going on 9 years now. And I blend the science and the metaphysics with it, but it's pretty unique in how I do this. So when I started seeing an increase in people blending essential oils with crystals, I started noticing that, I don't know if they've really studied crystals, because I saw some dangerous practices. So that is what I am going to talk about tonight. So why would we want to actually pair crystals and essential oils together? And I'd love to see in the chat if you've ever taken a crystal class, or if you've read a crystal book, or is this all new to you? I'd love to see that in the chat. So when it comes to, and I'm going to give you a really brief version of this. And if you want to get my book, I wrote a book called The Oily Crystal that's going to give you more detail. But I really do want to respect everyone's time tonight. So I'm going to kind of hit the highlights, because when we pair crystals and essential oils together, what we are doing is blending vibrational frequencies. Because essential oils have a frequency, crystals have a frequency, we have a frequency. And when we put essential oils and crystals together, we are enhancing the benefits of both. We are actually increasing the frequency of both of them. And so crystals, just like essential oils, can provide a myriad of benefits to us at the physical level of our body, as well as the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual level of our body. So what it is just another wellness tool in your toolkit. So in the Oily Crystal book, I go over frequencies to really help understand that while it's fun to blend oils and crystals and you can buy really pretty bottles and have a lot of fun with it, there is some pretty interesting science behind this. And so, just briefly, everything in existence is made of vibrational energy. Absolutely everything, including your computer, this glass of water that I have, the air around us, our body. Everything is made of vibrational frequency, and it just vibrates at different rates, which determines what object or what thing it is. So that also includes crystals and essential oils, water, you. I mean, everything vibrates at a frequency. So in my book, I actually go over 3 different physics principles, which I've got to tell you all, that still cracks me up. Like, my lawyer brain right now is giggling so hard because I went to law school to avoid math and science. True story. It is the only entrance graduate school exam that doesn't have math and science. And I'm like, I'm going to be a lawyer. Yay, I can do that. I can go to law school. So I laugh all the time because I love the science of essential oils and I love the science of crystals. And so in my classes and even in the book, I go over 3 different physics principles and how they relate to crystals and how it explains how we actually synchronize with them. So I just want to go over one real quick just to kind of drive the point home. So in physics, there is the principle of resonance. And that tells us that when there is a larger vibration, similar vibrations that are smaller or lower are going to synchronize with it. Have you ever worked with tuning forks? Because if you take 2 tuning forks that are the same note, let's say they're note C, you take one and you smack it and it goes blah and it's singing. The other one, if it is note C, will start singing too and vibrating even though you don't smack it. Like, seriously, Google it on YouTube. It is the freakiest thing you will ever see. And they do that in a lot of science classes to prove this principle of resonance. And so what it is that a smaller vibration is going to synchronize up to the larger one. And so this is like mutual energy that works off of each other. Okay, so what does that have to do with crystals and oils? I'm getting there. So how we see that with human beings is, let's say you're just feeling content and you're just, you're okay. And maybe you go into work or you go and you meet with somebody and they are really happy. What do? They bring you up to their level. This is how Tony Robbins makes a fortune, because he uses the principle of resonance to raise everybody up. He gets them jumping up and down, and next thing they know, they are walking across fire. He uses the principle of resonance with his personality. Now, on the flip side, have you ever come across somebody who is a real downer? They are real negative. I mean, they are raining on your parade. And you walk away from that conversation with them and you feel worse than when you did at the beginning. You synchronize with them. That's what these physics principles tell us. Okay, so let's start adding to that, because this is totally going to make sense when I start talking about the crystals and the oils and why we want to put them together. So let's just look at the energy of human beings just real briefly. There are things that can lower our frequency or raise it. We can lower our frequency if we are not getting good sleep, if we are stressed out, if we're fearful, we're worried, if we're eating really junk food, processed food, if we're in an unhealthy relationship, if we drink coffee, which I'm going to confess right now, I love my morning coffee, but I put my oils on afterward. If you're taking medications, if you smoke cigarettes, if you're subjected to a lot of electromagnetic frequencies, this all can lower your frequency. but you can raise it with different things like just being positive or meditating or praying. You know, energy healing will do that. Eating real food, getting fresh air, going out in nature, you know, moving and exercising, using affirmations, using crystals, and using essential oils. All of these things are going to raise your vibration. So when we look at the energy or the vibration of crystals, so the photo on your screen actually shows the energy coming off of a crystal. So I love it when people say to me, or they just kind of have that look on their face like, oh, you know, those pretty little stones are a bunch of woo woo. And it's like, do not make me whip out 3 principles of physics, because I will do that and I will leave you stunned the rest of the day. So to me, it's a lot of fun to do it. But here's how crystals work with us. Crystals have what we call a fixed, repeating crystalline structure. And that's what makes them different than stones and rocks that you find out in your driveway and in your yard. It is this fixed crystalline structure that repeats throughout the, here, I'm gonna grab this. I have crystals everywhere. This is a celestite. And it has a crystalline structure to it, which is why this is so incredibly gorgeous. And the rocks out in my garden aren't. All of them are made of minerals, but this has a crystalline structure in it that is fixed, it is solid, and it is not going anywhere. It is virtually indestructible, which is why these are billions of years old. These were here before life. These were here in the beginning. These will be here in the end. So I hope there is somebody around who's going to take care of like the 500 pounds of crystals I have in my home. They may end up on the doorstep of the Smithsonian Museum because I want to give them to somebody. But here's the thing. Everything has what's called a base frequency. And for humans and for animals, it fluctuates. For crystals, it does not. It is fixed. It is fixed. They do not change at the molecular level at all. We do. We change all the time. We come into contact with somebody who raises our energy or lowers it. Crystals, they don't change. It's why they are so old. So humans and animals and plants suffer from entropy, which is destruction. Our cells are constantly growing and dying, growing and dying. With crystals, it's fixed. There is no growing and dying. It's why they are so old. So going back to that principle of resonance about frequency, when we come into contact with a crystal that doesn't suffer from destruction like we do, our energy field begins to synchronize or resonate with it, because the crystal structure is a larger frequency than ours and it dominates. We get raised up to it. So it usually takes me a half a day to teach the science of crystals in my basic class. You just got it in less than 5 minutes, a very snippet of it. Now, here's the thing. There's no standardized frequencies of crystals. So, you know, we know what the frequency of a healthy human body is. It's about 78 megahertz. And the lower it goes, the sicker we get. There's no standard frequencies of crystals because every crystal is different. And nobody is doing the testing on a large scale. So we don't know. We don't know what they are. We just know that they're higher than we are. Now, what about essential oils? So essential oils don't have a solid structure like a crystal. They come from plants which suffer from entropy. So they can fluctuate. So essential oils with high frequencies help us with emotional issues and can actually raise the frequency of the body. And essential oils with a lower frequency actually help more on physical issues. And they're not going to lower the body because in these physics principles, frequencies add together. So even if you've seen those frequency charts that float around on social media all the time, those were created from testing that Gary Young did 20 years ago. And so it gives you an idea. Like, for instance, Valor is 47 megahertz. Well, a healthy human body is 78. So people often ask me, well, is that lowering the frequency of my body? No, it's adding to your number and raising you up. That's how it works. Same thing with crystals. It's adding together and raising you up. It's always raising you up. Just like being out in nature raises you up. Prayer, meditation, real food always raises you up. Okay, so when we put the crystals and the oils together, it's just another tool to raise our frequency so that we can stay above that wellness line and really go a lot higher. Now, here's the thing that tends to drive me a little bonkers, because we know that we don't know what we don't know, right? We don't know what we don't know. Before I got into essential oils almost 8 years ago, I was using, okay, it's confession time. I'm just going to say it. I was using all the really horrible oils in the stores that did nothing. And I kept buying them for 15 years. They never did anything. Why did I keep buying them? Because I didn't know. I didn't know what I didn't know. People who are blending oils and crystals together just don't have the information about the crystals. And even if you read a crystal book, you're not going to get this information. It's why I've been teaching this for 8 years, and I finally decided to put it in my book, The Oily Crystal, to help people, to help young living people and anybody else. Because there's two things that people are really not talking about because they don't know to. They are not talking about the hardness of a crystal and the toxicity to see if it's even safe to go in a liquid, like an essential oil or a carrier oil or water. So crystals are scored on what's called a Mohs hardness scale. All crystals, all gems like diamonds, rubies, emeralds are all on this Mohs hardness scale. So if you've ever heard that diamonds you cannot scratch, they are the hardest mineral and crystal on the planet. They are a Mohs hardness 10. You cannot scratch them. You cannot. At the other end of the scale, Mohs hardness 1, these are the softest crystals. Talc. I want you to think baby powder. Talc is technically a crystal. That's Mohs hardness 1. You put it in water, it disappears. Okay, so the short story, you need to make sure a crystal is Mohs hardness 6 or higher, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10, in order for it to go in liquid. If it is lower than that, the liquid can actually penetrate the physical structure of the crystal and start to degrade it. The thing that we know about crystals is you don't know what's on the inside. And if it starts breaking down, what if a mineral got in there and started growing that isn't beneficial to you? Because we know that not everything that comes from the earth is healthy for us. Arsenic, asbestos, lead, aluminum, all come from the earth. What if some asbestos got inside this crystal? I can't see it, but I stick it in water or essential oils, and it starts breaking down the crystal, and that toxic mineral can get out. So that's the second thing that's really not being discussed, is you have to check the toxicity of crystals. You have to check them. Any good crystal book is going to give you the Mohs hardness and the toxicity. You may have to look it up on the periodic table because they use the initials like Al for aluminum and Fe for iron. But like one of my favorite crystal books is the Encyclopedia of Crystals by Judy Hall. I love Judy Hall. She's like the godmother of crystals. I love her books. But those are the two things. You can't have any toxicity, no lead, no aluminum, no asbestos, none of that. No copper, no nickel. And a majority of crystals are full of toxic minerals. They all cannot go in liquid. They just can't. It breaks my heart. I love them, but they just can't. They just can't. So, like this crystal that I've been holding up, celestite, I love it. It's very angelic and it's very celestial, but it has toxic minerals in it. I cannot stick it in a roller bottle. So, those are the two things that are so very important. So very important. And just because a company is selling crystal roller bottles, it doesn't mean that they know what crystals are safe. I think we all know that being in Young Living, that just because a company sells something, it doesn't mean it's safe. It's why we all flocked to Young Living. So, and unfortunately, there are companies out there. Some are even run by some Young Living members, and they are selling roller bottles with toxic crystals in them and crystals that are unsafe. And it's because they don't know. And there are some Young Living social media influencers who are promoting them, and it's because they don't know. We got to get this information to them. I've sent my book to a lot of them. Can't make them read it, but at least they have it. So, what else you need to do in the selection process is be intentional about what you want to create. So if you really like crystals, buy a solid crystal book. I like the Encyclopedia of Crystals, and she'll tell you which crystals will give you energy and which crystals will calm you down, because you want to pick an equivalent essential oil to put with it, right? You want to blend them. So you want to be intentional about what you're blending. You don't want to blend too many oils, too many crystals. Keep it simple. And I actually like to use the crystal chips in bracelets and necklaces. I mean, I will buy crystal necklaces and just cut the cord, and I have all of those chips, and they are perfect to go in a roller bottle. And then I will buy really thin crystal points. And I don't even think you can probably see this, but I've got a really long, like 2-inch clear quartz point in this roller bottle. And that's what I use. That's what I use. So I never call out companies or people by name. That's not my style. But this is a chart of a very well-known roller bottle company. And these are the crystals that they are putting not only in the roller bottles, but making the roller bottle top out of a crystal. And I picked this chart up at an event in Chicago about 3 years ago, and immediately looked at it, and I was like, nope, nope, no, 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 no. And so you see a lot of N's. N means no. The red N is toxic minerals. And the blue N means the most hardness is too weak, and it's going to break down the crystal, and it could release something that's toxic. So, for example, emerald, no, too soft, and it has toxic minerals. Labradorite is one of my favorite crystals. Nope, it's got aluminum in it. So chances are, if you use essential oils, you are probably in the process of ditching and switching toxic products, right? Can I get an amen to that? We're getting rid of aluminum-based antiperspirants, right? So why would we want to rub an aluminum crystal in a roller bottle all over our body? We don't. Don't do it. Just don't. Say no. Say no to the aluminum. But there, as you can see on this list, 2/3 of the crystals that this very popular company that a lot of Young Living people buy from, 2/3 of these crystals are unsafe to go in a roller bottle. They're very well intentioned, but this is faulty advice that they are giving because they don't know what they don't know. They don't know. So in my book, I actually outline which crystals are toxic and which ones are safe, which ones can be in liquid. But I always encourage people, please do your own research. Please, please, please. You can even Google, what is the Mohs hardness of rose quartz? What is the mineral makeup of rose quartz? You can Google it even without having a crystal book. So when you're blending, you're either going to do an essential oil carrier oil combination, or you may even do a water. Like I like to make crystal elixir sprays and put the essential oils in and like put it in a guest bathroom. So, when you're doing that, whenever you're using a carrier oil with our essential oils, make sure it's organic, cold pressed, first pressed, because carrier oils can be as adulterated as essential oils. So make sure you're doing that. You can add a little bit of vitamin E or glycerin, and that acts as a natural preservative. Now, if you're doing something water-based that you're going to put in a spray, so you're going to have water, your essential oils, and some crystals. If you add a little vodka or salt, or even organic white vinegar, that acts as a natural preservative because water will go stale within about 7 days. So those are just some, 2 easy ways that you can create an oily crystal blend. And now I want to go through, because I go through this in the book, I go through the chakras. Are you all familiar with the chakras? Our body has these energy centers that feed into every endocrine gland and all of our major organs. And they can either give us energy or deplete us from energy. So we want to keep them balanced. That is the short story of what a chakra is. So I'm going to go through the 7 main chakras. I do this in the book, but in my book, I don't mention Young Living by name. I don't mention any of their blends because as an attorney, I respect their trademark. Okay. So in the book, I'm only going to talk about single oils like frankincense and blue spruce and lemon. But tonight I'm going to give you blends. Okay. Because I can give you blends in a presentation. So let's start with the root chakra. So the root chakra is, it's all about security and belonging. And so a good crystal that you can use is like brown or red jasper. That resonates with the root chakra, that is basically at your tailbone. That's where your root chakra is. And when you feel like you don't have security or you don't belong or you're fearful, then your root chakra needs some help. Use brown or red jasper in your roller bottle. And these are the blends that really resonate with the root chakra. Exodus 2, which I just found out is out of stock with no date that it's coming back. I am a big Exodus 2 user, so I panicked just a little bit about 30 minutes ago. But Exodus 2, grounding, release, sacred mountain, Sarah, and valor. Those are your root chakra oils. So you can put them in a roller bottle with a brown or a red jasper, and you just changed the frequency of everything and made it stronger and stronger for you. All right, for your sacral, let me give you an affirmation. So in the books, I actually give you a whole list of crystals and oils and tell you how to apply them, but I also give you an affirmation to use with them. And so for the root chakra, it is, I am peaceful, protected, and safe. Doesn't that sound really good in the world that we live in right now? I am peaceful, protected, and safe. All right, let's go to the sacral chakra. This is like 2 inches below your belly button. And this is where you birth creativity. So maybe you birth a human being, which you created, or you birth a business, or you birth a class or a book. This is where all of your creative inspiration comes from. So if you have ever felt like, oh, I just lost my creative mojo, like, I don't know what to do next, work on this area. And so a crystal like carnelian is totally safe. Carnelian is in the quartz family. Quartz crystals across the board are really good to go with essential oils. So carnelian is great. And then your blends are abundance, Christmas spirit, inner child, inspiration, into the future, motivation, and sensation. These are amazing. And when you blend them together, you can even topically apply it 2 inches below your belly button and get that creative fire going. And your affirmation is, I embrace the passion I have for life. Because how many of you feel like 2020, like sucker punched you right in the stomach and then slapped you across the face and then kicked you down on the ground and said, hey, can I do it again? Yeah, the sacral chakra really got hit this year. So this is going to help. All right, let's go to the solar plexus. This is your stomach area. This is your power center. This is where your energy comes from. This is where your strength and your bravery and that go, 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 I can do it. That's where that comes from, is this energy center. So citrine is your crystal. And then look at all the blends. Oh my gosh, so many blends. Acceptance, citrus fresh, common sense. I always giggle when I say that. We have an oil called common sense. I just love that. I think that's hilarious. And it works. I will tell you it works. But highest potential, hope, humility, magnify your purpose, peace and calming, present time, release, surrender, thieves, and transformation. These are your power center oils. These are the oils to say, get going. Come on, you can do it. You got to motivate it in yourself. Go, go, go. Don't be sitting down right now. And so your affirmation is, I am strong, I am brave, and all is well. Because it's hard to have get up and go when you don't think all is well. So blending that citrine crystal with any of these oils is going to ramp up that frequency for you, raise your energy. All right, let's go to the heart chakra. So this is your emotional center. This is where joy and unconditional love is rooted. And so, you know, we're human beings. We've all had heartache. We've all had some form of trauma. It just, you know, and our heart stores it all. It's like a big database. So let's get that all released because it can feel heavy. I mean, have you ever just felt like, oh, my heart is just so heavy? Yeah, we got to get that out of there. Raise your frequency, and rose quartz is going to do it. Absolutely safe to go in liquid with essential oils. And then, I mean, obviously rose oil. I mean, that's like the single oil that is meant for your heart. You know, but if you don't want to pay $180 for rose oil at this moment in time, you know, get joy. Joy has rose in it, or get the believe oil or forgiveness or the gratitude oil. These are your blends for your heart. And when you put them together with rose quartz in a roller bottle, oh my gosh, you're going to feel lighter. You're just going to feel lighter. And we need more joy in the world right now. Okay, let's go to your throat chakra. Okay, so throat chakra, this is your communication center. This is where you either speak your truth so that people can hear you, even if it's a difficult conversation. They can hear your words. Or you swallow your words because you're afraid of what to say in this world. Because we're living in a world where truth is, we honestly don't know what's true anymore. We don't. There's a war on truth. And so our throat chakra is really getting hurt really bad right now, energetically. And think about what the thing, I won't even call it by a name, the thing that's floating around our planet right now, what is it hitting? The throat. The throat chakra also governs the lungs. And we're in a war on truth. Isn't that interesting? All right, let's beef up our throat chakra. And when I say authentic communication, it's communication that can be heard. It's not screaming at people. It's not forcing ideas down their throat. It's really finding your truth, because when you speak your truth, you are confident. You're confident in it, and people will listen. They will hear it. So blue lace agate is your crystal, and your blends are Australian blue and Dreamcatcher. And when you put them together and then rollerball it on your throat, mm, 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 that is amazing. Amazing, amazing. All right, let's go to our third eye. This is right in the center of your forehead, and this is where clear thinking and vision for the future is seated in your energy body. So we all need clear thinking, right? I mean, 2020, I can tell you, in April, I had to tear down a year-long calendar that was pinned to my wall and redo it, because it's like, okay, all of my plans, all of my classes, all of my travel for both of my careers, my healing and my legal work, everything got flushed down the drain. So I need to think clearly. I need to pivot. I need to plan. I need a new vision. What am I going to do? Okay, we're still in that. We're still in that. So if you felt like, oh, 2020 was kind of a waste, I didn't quite get my footing, and I just was spinning my wheels, you need to work on your third eye. And amethyst is your crystal, and your blends are awaken, clarity, envision, and white angelica. Put the amethyst with any of those blends, rollerball it right over your third eye, and let it go to work for you. And you will be amazing at what you come up with for the future. Now, we're ending this year, we're going into 2021. This is when we goal plan and set our intentions. Give this a try. Give it a try. I think you're going to be amazed. And then last but not least, our crown chakra. This is right on the top of our head. And it's not only where we connect to God or source energy, or whatever your higher source that you believe in, but it's also where we manifest. So if you've struggled with a goal, like I have this goal and I do all the things and it's not happening, something's wrong. Okay, your crown chakra isn't really connected. So you can do that with a clear quartz. The most abundant crystal on the planet is clear quartz, easy to find. And these are your blends: abundance, gathering, higher unity, sacred angel, three wise men, and the gift. These are your blends. Put them in a roller bottle, roll it right on the top of your head. And and I forgot to give you some of the affirmations, but they're in the book. But for the crown chakra, the affirmation is, I am that I am. That has oh my gosh, that connects to this, to the what the yogis chant when they say Om. I am that I am is on that frequency, and absolutely connects you to source energy, where everything that you've ever wanted has already happened. You just got to connect with it. So, all right, that is my quick and dirty oily crystal. But I told Rebecca I'd keep it quick. So 2 main things: check the Mohs hardness 6 and higher to go in liquid, and make sure it's not toxic. Those are the 2 takeaways, absolutely the 2 takeaways. And just because a company sells a crystal roller bottle doesn't mean it's safe. Now, I want to tell you where I make my own crystal roller bottles, but there is a vendor that I have partnered with. She reached out to me and said, I need to make my stock completely compliant with the oily crystal. And I love that. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're like oily crystal compliant. I love that. The name of her company is called Silver Orange Boutique. She has a website. She has an Etsy site. She is a Young Living member. I personally know her. She's not in my team. She's not in our Crossline team here. Her name is Rebecca Hazy, and she is phenomenal. And all of her crystal roller bottles are safe. You can absolutely buy from her. She is an amazing, amazing lady, has a wonderful family. So if you want to learn more, my book, if you use, I put a coupon code for you. If you just want to get one book, if you go to my website, in the coupon code, type the word Zoom, and you're going to get 10% off. But if you want to hand these out at a class, if you want to hand these out to your downline or anybody who's on Essential Rewards, or your crystal loving, tree hugging friends like me, I give discounts. If you buy 5, you're going to get 10% off automatically. If you buy 10, you're going to get 20% off. If you buy 20, you're going to get 30% off. I have a lot of people buying these in bulk, and they're handing them out because this has become super popular lately. And I want people to know. That's why, I wanted to come and talk to all of you. But in the book, it's a 32-page book. It's an easy read, but I go deeper into frequencies, into the chakras. I give you more crystals, more essential oils, and I give you 12 of my favorite recipes for people, including a recipe called Tree Hugger and a recipe called I Can Do It, so that you believe in yourself. But I also give you 9 recipes for pets, because everything I do really is for pets. In fact, Rudy is here. It took you long enough. We wondered where you were. He literally sits on the back of my chair for every Zoom, every class, every meeting that I'm in. He is always here. But I give you 9 recipes for pets, including one that's called My Hair's on Fire, for those pets that just will not chill out. So I give free shipping in the US and even in Canada for up to 5 books. So if you're interested in crystal classes, I took all my crystal classes online this year, thanks to The Thing. I have a basic class, I have a pet class, I teach crystals for animals, and I have an advanced class that I just finished teaching online for the first time to a group of Young Living members in Singapore, Malaysia, and Australia. They were my test subject. I love them. They are awesome people, and they helped me so much. So, I mean, if you're really, really interested in crystals, I teach classes. And I'd love to stay connected with you. So feel free to reach out. And I would love to know if you have any questions. I should actually go back and check the chat here and see if there's any questions. So let's see. Might be nice if I opened up the chat. What was the crystal site again? For the crystal roller balls, the company is called Silver Orange Boutique. And if you just type that into Google, you'll find her. Silver, I'm typing it in the chat. Silver Orange Boutique. Let's see, what is a good soul healing stone? You're not messing around. Pink Himalayan quartz. Pink Himalayan quartz, which that's actually what is in this roller bottle, is a pink Himalayan quartz. I love it. Love, love, love it. Let's see, Diane, can you put more than 1 blend of oils in a crystal roller bottle? Okay, you can absolutely do whatever you want. Here is my theory. Actually, it's not even my theory. Gary Young taught it to me. He blended the blends for a purpose and for a specific frequency. And if you tamper with it, you're going to change the frequency. Now, I don't believe adding a crystal is going to change it. It's going to take that frequency. Let's say the abundance oil. He blended the abundance oil for the abundance frequency. And if you add a crystal to it, it's just going to amplify that abundance frequency. So it's not going to change it, it's going to amplify it. if you add another blend or even a single oil to the abundance frequency, you absolutely change it. And it's no longer the abundance frequency. So that's what he taught me. I believe that. Now, do I just sometimes want to blend in the diffuser because I want a certain scent? Yeah, I put abundance and believe together in my diffuser and I love it. But that creates a whole new frequency. So in the roller bottles, I try to, you can absolutely mix single oils like frankincense with Idaho blue spruce or black spruce. Oh my gosh, that'll take you to another planet. That's powerful. But I leave the blends alone because Gary was brilliant and he knew what he was doing. Really good question. All right, if there were any questions at the beginning, for some reason my computer will not let me scroll up and see the beginning of the questions. So I don't know why it's doing that. Hold on. Sometimes my computer is a little wonky. I like the word wonky. Let's see. All right, I didn't see any other questions. Are there any other questions?
So, Allie, I have a question.
Yes.
So I and I'll try to do this without saying anything too much. So I got something from Sherry, and I just want to make so I won't assume anything, but I would like to assume. It was there were some roller balls and some cards and things like that, and there was something that she was kind of like moving stuff out and things like that. And I said, oh, this sounds great because I want to learn about this. I haven't touched it yet. Okay. And I've been thinking and thinking and thinking. And of course, we can't connect with people. So I'm thinking, okay, well, now, and then this came on. I said, well, great, let's learn. But maybe I should ask you separately and I can give you the name.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. If you can let me know what the crystals are, I'll absolutely tell you if they're safe or not.
Okay. Okay. I'll do
yeah.
that. I don't wanna.
Yeah. Just message me and I will help you with that. Yeah. Just last week, I'm in it's a Young Living page that is about oils and crystals. They don't really talk about crystals that much, but it's in the name of their group. So I'm like, oh, I should go in there. Oh my gosh, I blew up that page last week.
Really?
Because somebody posted these crystal roller bottles they bought on Amazon. And I just went in there and I said, look, I know you all don't know me. Here's who I am. And I'm really sorry that I'm the Crystal Grinch. But I've got to tell you, you cannot use aquamarine, moonstone, tourmaline, obsidian. Oh my gosh, absolutely not. They're full of aluminum. You can't do it. Yeah. And I blew up that page, but it's like, and they're like, oh, but there's a Young Living social media influencer out there who's promoting them. And I'm like, yeah, she has my book. She hasn't read it. I don't know what to tell you. You just, you gotta, you don't know what you don't know. So yeah.
Okay.
It's, yeah. So I try to be gentle about it, but sometimes I am the Crystal Grinch and I'm like, sorry, I didn't, create the Mohs hardness and the toxicity levels, but I certainly feel compelled to share them because of what I know and all the education that I've had over the last decade. So,
yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll talk after them.
May I ask a question, please? I have some green agates with druids, and I think they're toxin to oils, correct?
What's the crystal again?
The green agates, or I don't know how to say it. It's the green and black ones. I've got a whole bunch of gems.
Without the
specific druzy, and last I heard is she said, the lady I got from said, do not use oils with it because it can be toxin. And then she said something about using the stones from the volcanoes. Said those ain't good for oils.
Right. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're not. So the obsidians tend to come from volcanoes. But the other one, yeah, without knowing the exact name, there's a lot of green and black
It's a green
crystals.
agates is what it is.
Green agate.
Green moss agates.
Yeah, agates in general are fine. Green moss. Here, hold on. Let me check.
And how do we get your book? We just go to your website?
Yeah, just go to manifestedharmony.com. Now, green agate is safe, but green moss agate is not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what I got, the green moss. I love it. It's beautiful though.
It is. It's a wonderful crystal. Yeah.
It
it's
is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Allie.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Bye-bye.
All right. Any other questions before we log off? Okay. I do not see any other questions. So I'm going to go ahead and just bring this to an end. And, if you have questions, just reach out. And if you want to get the book, just use the Zoom coupon code so you can get a discount. And, but you can always ask questions. I'm always here to help. So thank you very much. I will post this recording in the team page so that you all can access it later. So thanks for joining in tonight. I really appreciate it. And Rudy says thank you too. All right. I'll see y'all later. Merry Christmas.